Setting financial goals, investing, and financial planning are an essential part of your business. Join me in the Absa Women in Business Masterclass series as I share insights on investing, financial planning, strategic business management, and so much more.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please just let me know if you can hear me, if I can get a thumbs up from somebody just to confirm that you can hear me loud and clear as we are starting. Okay, great. I see the thumbs up. So thank you so much. Welcome to yet another masterclass. I hope that you've been all well. As you may know, last month we didn't have our masterclass because we were hosting the Inspire Me conference that went really, really well. So if there's anybody who's in this session today who attended the Inspire Me conference, whether it was virtually or physically in the room, please give yourself a thank you clap. We're really grateful for everybody that was able to support us on that front. Maybe just quick housekeeping rules, and I can see that the audience already knows what needs to be done. It's for us to be able to keep our mics on mute for the duration of the presentation, and also our camera, just so that you don't lose a proper network connection as we are having the presentation going on. But at the point of us having our Q&A, in case you will have a question, we will ask you to unmute your mic and you can be able to introduce yourself and then pose a question. But if not, if you would like to post your questions as our presenter is running us through today's session, please go to the chat and drop your questions and we'll be able to read them out. If it's not a question, if it's just a general comment, we're more than happy for you to also just post your comment. If you're enjoying the session, if you need any point of clarity, we would also be happy to read those comments. So today, as you can see, and I'm sure you can all see that we do have Lyapa here with us again. Lyapa, welcome to today's session, and thank you so much for coming. It's really good to see you again. So for those who may have missed the previous session that we had with Lyapa, that was really focusing on financial planning and investments. Lyapa is the CEO and the core managing partner for Money Acumen Advisory. Money Acumen Advisory is a premier advisory and wealth management firm that specializes in personalized, balanced investment portfolios tailored to clients for their unique investment goals. So if there's anything around investments that you're looking for, I think we do have the right person in the room. Should be able to talk us through anything that's financial related, and which is why we thought it was important for us to have her back in today's session so that she can just lead us through the very important topic that we have today, which is really around goal setting. And I think many of you would be wondering, why are we looking at goal setting in August or end of August and getting into Q4? But we thought it's important for us to talk about this as opposed to having it in January when you're already hitting the ground running. We wanted us to make sure that we take a moment, understand what is involved in goal setting so that we're able to start 2026 strong. So whether you're looking at it from a business point or whether you're looking at it from a personal point, we just thought it's important for us to be able to start the goal setting conversation pretty much at the back end of this year so that as we are starting 2026, we're able to be on a good slate to go. And as you may be aware, I think for most of us, we all know that goal setting is important. It does help to give us an idea of what we want to achieve in the short to medium term. But also, and I did say this to Lyapa earlier, it's also very confusing. I think goal setting is very confusing. And sometimes if you don't get it right at the beginning, it sort of throws you off tangent for the remainder of the year. So today, Lyapa, we are really keen to hear from you in terms of what is goal setting, all things goal setting, and what should we be able to look out for. So really excited about us having this session, as opposed to at the beginning of the year where all of us are, trying to put everything in place. So this gives us at least a good 4 months to start planning on what 2026 will look like. So at this point, I'll take a pause and hand it to you. And looking forward to today's session. So over to you, Lyapa.
Okay. Thank you, Vanjini. I'm excited to be back here. Especially that we're going to be speaking to something that I have to do as a business owner too. Mm-hmm. Like you mentioned, goal setting is something that needs to be done prior to the year that's coming. And more importantly, we still have Q4 of 2025 that also needs to be planned for. So I'm hoping that we can learn together, and it also sets in as a reminder for me to have my affairs in order for my business. Okay. So our focus today, this will be a very short chat, and I'm hoping we can have as much feedback from the business owners in the room. Give us your experiences, ask your questions. We can learn from each other. The focus, like highlighted here, will be finance, sales, operations, and people at a very high level. So now the question is, why are we having a conversation around goal setting? You find that the environment that we have in Zambia is very challenging for small, medium-sized businesses, and it's even more challenging for businesses that don't have a plan. Mm-hmm. And something I need to echo is we interchangeably use strategy and planning. And you and I had this conversation earlier, just to align what the two mean. Strategy is the what and the why that guides the how and the when, which are the goals. So first, what you're doing is you're setting out a strategy of how your 2026 will look like before you start implementing, detailed goals of how to attain the how and the what and the why, which is the strategy. So why are we having the conversation around goal settings? First things first, again, it provides a narrow focus around your direction for your particular business. Where are we going? What are we trying to achieve? What does my business look like in comparison to its competitors? How do my clients view my business? What do I have to offer to my clients? What are they looking for? What did we do right this year? What did we do right the year before? And what are we looking to offer our clients the coming year? You can't do that if you don't look at your business from a holistic point of view and plan for the future. And more importantly, aligning your resources with opportunities that lie ahead. We spoke to financial management last time, and doing your cash flow projections in good time, looking at how much you're looking to make, looking at managing your expenses, and then overall looking at how your bottom line looks like. You're unable to align your resources well if you don't plan, if you don't set goals, if you don't have a strategy in place. Your resources, in as much as you might have enough to run your business, it will always look like you are shortchanged at every given time. Why? Because you don't have everything aligned. And remember, a business needs to have different units or different departments, quote unquote, no matter how small it is. And you allocating your resources well plays a pivotal role in the success of your business. And then also, it doesn't help that we are in a country that is we have high inflation rates, we have FX volatility for people that are importing, compliance demands, and all those items need to be planned for. You need to know what happens in a case where inflation goes above 13%. Of course, we want it to be in the single digits, but that hasn't happened in quite a bit. And quarter in, quarter out, we see inflation going up. Month in, month out, we see inflation going up. How is your business surviving in this high inflation landscape? How are you passing on this cost to the clients? How are they responding to that? Yeah, it's one thing for you to just fix it in because the FX rates are surging higher and you're passing on this to your clients. How is that affecting your business in the short, medium, and long term? Yeah, that sits in your strategy. Yeah, why? Because you've already somewhat planned for it. Yeah, you've weighed the market risks. You understand the different types of risks that exist in the industry, one, and in the country that you exist in. Yeah, we've had an energy crisis in the past year or two. How has your business adjusted to that? Yeah. One case study that you can look at that every single business has gone through, or at least those that existed before 2019, is COVID-19. Yeah, how did businesses perform before and post-COVID? Yeah, so all these businesses needed to adjust. Why? Because the climate changed thereafter. So how are you adjusting? How are you planning as a business? Yeah, it's one thing to recognize it and pay a blind eye to it. It's another thing to sit down with yourself and see how it affects the numbers, how it's affecting your clients and the success of your business overall. Compliance demands in Zambia, that's not something you can run away from. You have taxes coming in left, right, and center. You have regulators who are the regulators in your respective industries, and how have you planned for them? Okay, doesn't matter whether you're a small or a big business, you are weighed, on the same scale. So you can't run away from it. Even just, small things, small big things, like pay for your employees. Are you adhering to that? Yeah, you have insurance for your employees, even just basic government insurance like NIMA. Are you adhering to those? So as a business owner, you want to plan for them. How does it look like on your books as a business? So you want to implement that, yeah? And then again, clear goals drive financial health for your business. It also drives customer trust because you're compliant, you have a plan, you look like you know what you're doing, and also proper retention of your employees, because employees want to work in an environment that has structure overall. Yeah. So set up your strategy, which is your what and your why, and then set up your goals thereafter, which is your how and when and where. Yeah. Simple framework for goal setting that we can look at. Myself and Banji were having this conversation around setting SMART goals. Yeah. You keep hearing this time and again, and it becomes, this song that everyone is singing. But what we don't realize is SMART itself is a cliche for a reason, yeah. And the more you expand it, and the more you implement it in your planning, the more clearer your goals are and easier it is for you to implement, yeah. And quickly, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Yeah, specific means it's succinct, it's straight to the point. You've narrowed it down. You've looked through. You know that this is what we're looking to do. It's not vague. It's straight to the point. It's measurable. Okay, so what do we need to do? Within what time frame? And this time-bound there, you can measure the results. Okay, this is up to this percentage that we're trying to achieve. Is it above or beyond this? Is it below this? It's measurable. You action that. Yeah, it's achievable. Are we biting more than we can chew? Can we actually do this? Do we have capacity to do this? Do we have the machinery? Do we have the people to get this done? Is our business big enough? Do we have the resources to get this done? Okay, so you're setting those goals. You're implementing your strategy. You are not daydreaming. Yeah, is it relevant? I got this rude awakening as a business owner, saying I should have read it. Yeah, one of the million books that I like to read. Saying most business owners like to introduce new systems, introduce new products, introduce new ways of doing things without consulting the client, without consulting the business plan that you created in the first place, without consulting what it is that you stand for and what it is that you're offering to your respective client. Yeah. is this even relevant? This goal that you're trying to implement, yeah? How does it sit into in your business, or is it, just one of the other items that you got off the internet or you saw your competitor doing? How does it sit in your business? Yeah. So you want to streamline. Again, you want to be specific. You want to streamline if it's relevant to your business, or if it's just one of those other items that you're wasting your time on. Time bound. Again, we ignore this time and again. Yeah. You want to implement something, you start today, it's already a week, it's already, a month, it's 1 quarter has gone by, it's already half year. Right now, we're talking about going into fourth quarter. Is what you set out to do in 2025 been done? Yeah, that's the question. Yeah. Did you achieve what you set out to do in Q1? Did you achieve what you set out to do in Q2? Or have things been rolling over time and again? Yeah. So you want to time yourself. You want to fixate a specific time horizon to every objective, every goal that you set out. Yeah. That way you can mark your results of it. If it's something that can be done, you're better off putting it as, a medium to long-term goal other than a short to medium-term goal. And again, it helps you assess whether this is a short, medium, or long-term goal. And that's what SMART stands for. So I would want us to stop scrolling past it, or just shoving it in the back of our heads and actually implementing it. And you mentioned this earlier, saying organizations, small and large, will tell you at the beginning of every year, have you set your SMART goals here? And we're like, here we go again with this cliche, but let's implement that. And also plan horizons, H2 2025, which speaks to stability and compliance, and then 2026 growth and scale. So even as we are setting this framework for goal setting, what I'm asking everyone to do is, as we're in this particular quarter, we're going into the next quarter and the quarter thereafter, what we are doing now is ensuring that our businesses are stable, our businesses are compliant. That is our short-term goal, And come 2026, what we're looking to do is either grow or scale thereafter, But you can't grow and scale, overnight, And at the same time, what you want to do is check where you are. At the office, part of our pitch to our clients is saying to them, I'm trying not to paraphrase, but our role in this is to see where you are, where you want to be, and how we can get you there.
Exactly.
So now the question is, where are you? Where do you want to be? And how do you get there? And that's where goal setting and setting up a strategy comes in. And also,
I just wanted us to stay there. But I think you raise a really important point. And it's one that I don't think we should just gloss over very quickly. And this is, when we're talking about planning the horizon, right? What we're doing right now, and for everybody else on the call, I think we said at the beginning that we want to make sure that we start 2026 strong.
That's right.
And when you talk about stability and compliance, I think for me that's really, really important, because this moment allows us, as we are looking at goal setting, making sure that we actually take a step back. And you almost have to have your checklist.
Yes.
Okay, in terms of what I want to achieve going forward, or what I needed to achieve this year, and where did I fall short? That's almost the conversation you should be having with yourself and within your business to say, from a stability point, what do I need to check on? From a compliance point, am I meeting my obligations?
Yes.
Who am I supposed to be paying? Even your debtors,
Yes.
Do you have your debtors list in order? Do you actually know who's, owing you money?
That's
Even
correct.
if it's me as a family member, you should have me jotted down somewhere, on a list. So I just thought it's really important that we stay on this point, because what that does essentially, it almost becomes a building block for 2026. So I thought it was just an important point as we're looking at growth and scalability.
And just to speak to that, when you're doing these audits and assessments, this is why big businesses, and I would like everyone in this room that own, small to medium-sized businesses to use big businesses as case studies. There's what we call year-on-year growth.
Yeah.
What that does is you stand there and you look back, say, where were we last year as compared to this year? Yeah. How have we grown? What did we do better last year, or what did we do better this year? And how can we scale from there? Yeah. And that is where the planning for the following year comes in. Yeah. So, yeah, you make a really good point. The next bit is using monthly dashboards to track your finances, your sales, and your operations, and your people. Yeah. So again, dashboards in the back of our heads it's numbers. Yeah, it's cash flow projections, it's revenue tracking, it's expense tracking, and net profit. And most of the times we use all these sheets that we have strictly for sales. Yeah, how much did I make? And for the most of it, we're not looking at everything else. Yeah, but other than just sales, because that's what we feel dashboards are for. We want to track how operations are working. Yeah, so operations span across different items, in your business, even just people. Yeah, performance metrics. Yeah, you want to track how your people are performing. Yeah, if you set up a target, how are they performing when you give them a task? How long does it take them to complete it? Yeah, if it's orders, how long do those orders take? Client feedback, and you need to get to a point where you have all this data that helps you make decisions, that help you know where your business is and how you can use that data and that information that you're integrating from that data to move your business forward. Yeah, people in finance like myself always bullied from the fact that we use Excel for everything. Yeah, I use Excel for
just about
everything. Just about everything. Yeah. Why? Because for me, the more data I have, the more the better I am at making the decisions that I need to make for my business. Yeah, and I want everyone to get into that form where every single item that concerns your business is documented. Yeah. How many clients complained about this particular product? Okay, how many defaults did we have this particular month? What is the response I'm getting from my suppliers? What is the response time when I make a complaint to my suppliers about this item? How quickly are we responding to our clients? When someone brings up a suggestion in the team or at the office, how quick are we at implementing, and how quick are we at tracking results, and so all these then spill to efficiency as a business, and that also will then speak to how you implement and how you plan for the next couple of months and the year that's coming. So this is the framework I would like us to use. So let's go back to basics. SMART goals: are they specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound? Planning, we've already spoken to you becoming stable as it is right now, and you being compliant in the now. So between August and December, focus on being stable and compliant, and in 2026 we can then speak to how we grow and how we scale thereafter, and also see if we can set up some dashboards of some sort.
So Lyapa, I know we're not supposed to do a Q&A at this point, but I think we have a question from Walia that is really speaking into what you've just talked about, which is around compliance. And Walia says, at what point or stage can a small startup business reach compliance stage, putting employees on pay and health insurance? So at what stage? Is there a designated stage, or, how can we help Walia just be able to navigate, particularly when you're looking at it from a startup? From a startup point.
So it also speaks to the type of contracts that you have for your employees. Yeah, if you're bringing them on as consultants, for instance, or on a non-fixed contract agreement, payee and NIMA won't kick in then. Yeah, but then at some point, and you see it as your business grows, you want to stabilize as an employer. You want people to stay with you, and that means you need to set up systems, you need to set up structure. They also need to feel safe, for lack of a better term. They want security in with their jobs. So part of providing security for your employees is ensuring that, the basics like pay are put in place. Do I have insurance with my employer? Now it's a big conversation. Why? Because NEMA is relatively affordable. It's very affordable. It's only 1%. So those are questions that your employees will start asking. And also, you just want to protect yourself as an employer. If they fall sick, chances are you still cater for those hospital bills one way or another. And insurance, like NEMA, insurance is just a risk management system that you're setting up as a business owner. So the sooner you can get it done, to answer Bolia's question, the better. See, again, your strategy will guide. This is us starting out now. I'm hoping to implement these items in 6 months' time. So by let's say March next year, I'm hoping all these items would have been put in place. But the sooner you can do it, or you can get it out of the way, the better.
Okay, thank you. Bolia, I hope that answers your question. If not, please just go back into the chat and then we can see how, as we progress, we'll be able to pose the question further to Lyapa. But Lyapa, I'll hand back to you for the presentation.
Okay. So around finance goals, quickly, why? Because we spoke to this in our previous session. You can always go back. I know this is documented. It's archived on the YouTube channel. So setting finance goals, this is how it would look like. I have a revenue target to grow 15% in the second half of 2025 and then 30% in 2026. This is you now setting actual actionable goals for your business. And cash flow, you're saying I want to maintain a 13-week rolling forecast. So you set out this particular cash flow projection sheet and tell yourself how the next 13 weeks should look like, how much we should be making as a business, how our expenses look like, and how the bottom line look like. Reserves, do we have at least 2 months of fixed expenses seated somewhere? I know we speak to emergency funds from a personal perspective, but even your business always needs some form of a buffer seated at every given point. When we speak to profitability, we're saying gross margins should be seated at least minimum 35% and above. Cost management, cut non-essential costs by 10%, especially as small business owners. Again, relevance, we go back to SMART. Is this relevant? Is this particular cost relevant, or are we just spending money unnecessarily? Do we have a line item on our books that isn't functional? Clients are not buying, but it's costing us money. Can we cut that out? What is a relevant cost to the business? As a small business owner, you are constantly doing these audits, and I'll say this very delicately. Small and medium-sized businesses are usually born out of passion. So you want to make everything work. You want to make everything work. You want every client satisfied. You want to provide a solution to everyone, which is not the case. So you want to narrow down. Which products, which services are actually serving both you as a service provider and your clients. That way you are sustainable as a business, or you find yourself crashing very quickly. And that's why this particular part of cutting non-essential costs come in. If big businesses can do that, surely you should be able to implement it at a small scale. And again, we've already spoken to compliance. Do you have your T's and your I's crossed and dotted? Just make sure you're one on the right side of things at every given point. And this is where setting policies come in place. Policies, most of the times, every time small or medium-sized businesses hear policy, it's almost like, this is a limitation to what I can do. It's I don't want restrictions. This is where I set my business. Policy guides you as a business owner. Again, you are passion driven. Once you set policies, you're setting rules for yourself so that you are not the ones, standing in front of, your own success, or standing in the way rather of your own success. But policies will always tell you what needs to be done. You go back to it. Okay. every time you give money to the business, is the business borrowing from you at this particular rate, or is it a debt-free loan from you? Are you converting it into equity? And so you're pacing yourself. Your business and yourself are two very separate entities. Yeah. You always want to set policies in place. They guide both the big items and the small items. When it comes to creditors and debtors, how are we treating them? Yeah, what are the timelines attached to that? As a business, when we procure something, are we supposed to pay them in 30 days? Yeah, how do we procure all the services and the products that we need? Yeah, how do we treat our debtors? Yeah? How do we speak to them? How do we ensure that they're paying us in good time? So you're having those conversations with yourself, but these can't be stuck somewhere in the back of your head. There are policies in place so that even when you're communicating to a third party or even to your team, there are guidelines that are guiding you, your team, and every external stakeholder out there. And this is how we do business here. In our organization or our business, and because of that, I can't do this with you, or I can't give you this. I can't go beyond 60 days, because then how do I survive as a business owner? I can only give you this, and I need payment to come in 30 days. Why? Because I have all these obligations. So without explaining so much to your clients, your policy will guide you. Yeah. So on the compliance bit, again, it grounds us, and you setting up policies will help with that.
Okay. So, Sue, I hope that's how you pronounce the name. I have seen your question, but I'll just ask if you can just hold on to that question for a minute. We'll just allow Lyapa to go through the next few slides. So please keep the questions coming on, and then we will be able to tackle the questions. So I have taken note of your question. So Lyapa, I just thought it's important that we acknowledge the question that has been posted in the chat.
Great. Okay. I needed to emphasize one thing, Banji, on profitability. Yeah. Most small and medium-sized businesses are so driven by passion that you don't realize that you keep pumping and pumping and pumping money into your business. Yeah. Believe it or not, this is something that I didn't have in mind when I started my business. It was born out of passion to an extent where you don't feel yourself drowning, until a friend colleague mentioned this in passing. He said, listen, I'm a full-time employee and I run two to three businesses. The only reason I run those 2 to 3 businesses on the side is because I love money, and every one of those businesses should make me a profit. Yeah. And that's the good part of being an employee that's running a business. Yeah. All of them need to make me money. Yeah. But the problem with you people that go in full-time is you don't realize that the goal of every single business is to actually make you money. And maybe that's the difference between you and I. And for me, that it's something that should be apparent to every business owner. But I can guarantee you that most of the people in this room with us today do not think of profits. I promise.
Profit is a scary word.
It's a scary word. We're not thinking of making money. We're thinking of, okay, so what do I need to introduce? How do I make my clients happy, and at the expense of yourself? Yeah. And you keep pumping in money and you keep pumping in money. So believe it or not, just having this conversation around your business is actually supposed to make you money is a whole masterclass on its own.
And we'll save that. So I think that is already something that we'll take away and say, how do we start to demystify some of the elements that come out of running a business. So business is good to have. Yes, you're passionate about it, but like you said, at the end of the day, there should be a bottom line that you're looking out for. So I'll take you on the next masterclass.
It's a sunset fallacy of, I've already pumped in so much money, so let me keep going. Let me keep going. So at some point, from one business owner to the next, please, the business is actually supposed to make you money. I just needed to get that.
Thanks for that.
So sales goals, customer growth, plus 20% active customers by December 2025. Again, emphasis here on active clients. Yeah, okay. You want clients that are drawn to you, they are loyal to you, they are yours. Yeah, and you want to keep growing that. at Money Acumen, we pride ourselves in clients that have been with us for the past 3 years, and we're going into 4. But it's also, you can also get stuck with the first clients that you started with, and those are the ones that you're riding on. Keep adding to that list, keep servicing more clients, keep retaining loyal clients, and ensuring that your business is growing. I believe in client retention and having happy clients. It's easy money. It's money that you can project on. And also improve conversion rate from 10 to 15%. So every client that comes should stay. Every client that comes should stay. Okay. So from one service to the next, from one product to the next. Repeat business, loyalty, referral programs, target 40% repeat sales in 2026. Again, these are goals that we are setting. I am a huge believer in referral basis, especially in an industry like ours. Investment advisory is a niche business, and because of that, you need to build trust. And it's only when someone trusts you will they refer someone to you.
Exactly,
And because not a lot of people will come asking for investment advice every other day, you are relying on ensuring that that particular client has received proper service, and they're recommending it to people in their circles. So you want to get to a point where your clients are doing the marketing for you, and speaking for you, and also setting a target for that. So target 40% repeat sales in 2026. You can introduce loyalty and referral programs, especially for clients that have brought so much business back to you. Maybe it's you giving them a discount on the next purchase. It's you giving them a discount code to say every time a client refers, a client comes through you, this is the incentive that comes your way. So let's just think around that. And also digital sales, capture 30% via different social channels. Fortunately or unfortunately, the world has gone digital. So even for businesses that are not ready to jump onto the 4th industrial revolution, are forced to go into it. We're having this conversation. Why? Because it was put out there on digital platforms, amongst other platforms. So you want to jump on, especially on the sales aspect. I wish I had my marketing guy here. He speaks all this jargon, and I'm just like, oh my god, can we narrow it down to how much did we make? And he's gone down to technicalities of how do you narrow down demographics, different demographics, the types of clients that we're looking for. Each platform has different types of clients, and there's a way you can streamline Is it sales that we're looking for? Is it leads that we're looking for? What is it? Is it engagement that we're looking for? So each platform will give you all these options. And before you buy into the sales part of each platform, you want to know what is the end goal of you putting your product or your service on that particular platform at that moment in time. Okay, so there are all these things, that you need to put in mind. We have social media training around sales, social media training that people have put out now, programs, and go out and learn about it to see how your business can leverage from digital platforms.
Okay.
And then debtors, again, reduce debtor days from 90 to 60 days, just so your business can stay afloat.
Let me just quickly come in and ask a question. What is a good period, if I can call it that, for lack of a better term, from a layman's point, your debtor's ledger? What period is it? Because I know most of the time, if you're hitting 120 days, then you're not in a good space. But is there a particular period or time frame that nil would be great, but we all know nil may not be, maybe impossible. So do we actually have what would be ideal
now? I would say 30 days.
30 days.
We've moved from the 90 and the 60 days. Government offices would tell you up to 90 days. Some big institutions would tell you up to 60 days. But if your policy can state 30 days, and you and that particular client of yours, can come to some form of an agreement where it serves both them and yourself, that's also okay. Because nowadays you're dealing with people. So it's also okay for you to tell them, saying, my policy with my business only allows for us to go up to 30 days. We have a lot of medium-sized businesses now, doing all this supply work of, servicing clients for products and services. And those medium-sized businesses, from a very realistic perspective, need every single coin they can get, to meet the obligations. So if you are not paying me now, I'm forced to go out to borrow. And by the time, the money is coming in, it's coming in to service the interest payments from, the financing that I got. So you want to be as realistic as possible from your front, and also help your clients understand from one individual to an individual. They have policies in place. You also have policies in place. So how can we help each other? So you find that it's narrowed down from maybe 60 days to 45 days. They'll tell you, we'll try and pay you within 30 days, your 30-day policy, but you'll have to give us maybe an allowance of an extra, 14 days. 14, 15 days, just to come through for you. So have the conversations. It's your business. I know back then people would come out, feeling small and timid because you're walking into a room with a big client, but just have the normal conversations with them and tell them this is where we are and this is what we can afford in terms of timelines.
Okay. Happy with that. Thanks.
Okay. On the operational goals, we speak to efficiency that we've spoken to time and again. So we reduce material wastage by 10%. That's you being efficient as a business. Inventory, this is assuming this is a product-based business. Inventory, introduce stock reorder levels to avoid stockouts or overstocking. And we see this time and again. You go to a store that you love, and every time you're looking for something, they just don't have it. Again, you're not reliable in that instance, because every time I want something or I need something, I just don't find it, or the extreme end of things is you overstocking, and again, your money is saturated in stock and you're unable to meet some of your obligations. So you just want to find that very sweet spot of ensuring that you always have the product in store, but then at the same time, it's not at your detriment of being liquid. Then there's technology, which is adopting again to technology. One of the items that I put in there was smart invoicing. Again, it goes back to being compliant. Depending on the type of business that you have, please ensure that you implement smart invoicing. I think that there's a deadline that is coming up, or I don't know if it's passed. We don't do smart invoicing because we're consultants, but just make sure that you are, again, compliant as a business. Digitize expense and sales tracking. We have a lot of, these sales softwares that are being sold online, or you can buy off the shelf, but you just want, some form of system set in place that you as business owner can track. Then there's operating costs, lower operating costs, by 10 or 15% in 2026 through efficiency. Again, sometimes it's not cutting from the top overheads per se. It's you working within. I'm trying to pick one of the items from the smart bit. It's you being. It's not relevant. It's you being. I think it might be on the relevant bit. It might fall on the relevant bit. What is really relevant in this moment? What do we need? What do we not need? So you are at your best when it comes to efficiency. And again, this is you setting goals. This is what we're going to do in the coming year. And when it comes to risk, you are then saying diversify suppliers to reduce dependency. Most of the times we'll set up a business because we have two big clients, and your business is set up. What happens when those clients walk away? What happens when you don't have that one big client that you have? So you also want to assess yourself. Who are our clients, and then can we live if these clients decided to take that business elsewhere? Because the same way there's you as a supplier, there's also another guy out there that's coming up with different strategies to get the same client that you're looking at. So you want to diversify your suppliers to reduce dependency and just look at your client book. And lastly, on our focus is people goals. Yeah. So first things first is training. So what goals are you setting for your people? This is what we're speaking to. The training, staff trained in compliance, digital tools, customer service. Yeah. Ensure that your team know what compliance means for your business. Yeah. Different industries, different markets have a different definition of compliance. For us, we're in the investment industry. We have the Securities and Exchange Commission of Zambia. We have the RBS system that guides us. Highly regulated industry. We have the Lusaka Securities Exchange on our brokerage wing. So every one of us needs to be aware of what's required of us and on that particular end in terms of investment banking and trading so our members of staff know where the line is and not to cross it. Yeah. They know what our licenses mean, and they know that, should anything happen here, our licenses will be revoked, or, the regulator will come knocking. Yeah. Other than that, we have external bodies that we need to be compliant to, and so you want to ensure that you are playing within, the box that you've set for yourselves and your team. Okay. Train your staff in digital tools, the tools that you have as a business. Yeah. Train your staff in customer service. Business owners, and I know almost everyone in here can relate. A business owner will set up this beautiful business that has proper systems. They've acquired their initial clients well, and that's where the business has actually come to life. And you employ people and they run your business down. Why? Because they don't know how to carry the business. They don't know how to speak to your clients. They don't know how to follow through. They don't speak the same language as you. Yeah. And this is why, for the most of it, when you speak to a manager, your problem is sorted in an instant. But you find 2-3 other people that were nonchalant towards your issue, or could just care less. Yeah. So you want to train your people. These are the standards that we've set for our business, and I would like us to ensure that it stays that way. Yeah. Incentives, link bonuses to revenue growth and efficiency savings. You want to bring your team into the business. You want to make them feel like they're part of the business. Yeah. Let's do this. Yeah. Should we hit our targets, there's something for everyone at the end of it. Yeah. So again, I like to speak to greed. Don't be greedy. If your people are good, if you've had the best people and they're making you good money, please give some of it back. Yeah. Or else you will be back at zero. There's nothing for you at the end of it. Culture. What type of culture have you set in your business? Do you have a team that we just come in, do whatever it is that they feel they need to do, walk out, and when you ask what's going on, no one is accountable. There's the blame game going on, and if a client comes back complaining, no one is willing to own up to it. So what type of culture have you set around your business that serves you as a business owner, serves your clients, and also serves the people that are in that business and the different stakeholders that are out there? So encourage teamwork, encourage, more importantly, accountability. And then there's retention. Yeah, keep annual staff turnover to 10%. So what you are saying there is, I don't want to lose more people. I want to retain my people. And as small business owners here, we are constantly fighting with the big guns. Yeah. Why? Because people are always seeing an opportunity to grow. They want to move from where you are to somewhere else, to a place with bigger opportunity, bigger structures, more pay, and so what are you putting in place to ensure that you retain your employees? It's a big gamble, but yeah, all I can do is wish everyone grace in this moment. And we now speak to strategic hiring. Yeah, maybe add 1 sales rep and 1 operations assistant in 2026. This for me is very personal when it comes to strategic hiring. Myself and Teresa always say we have a good eye for talent. Yeah. The problem with having a good eye for talent is they come at a very huge cost. Yeah, they're expensive. But it also speaks to the nature of our business, and also it speaks to the nature of a lot of businesses, be it product or service based. For you to get to a certain point, and I think I read this somewhere, for you to get to a certain point, the people that got you to point B are not the same people that will get you to point H. And that's where the problem is. That's where the problem comes in. So you need to start making sacrifices from onset, saying once we get to point C, do we have enough money to hire a person that is going to get us to point H? And just like that, I keep threatening my co-managing partner, saying I'm going to resign as CEO very soon, and she keeps looking at me saying, you know what, just stop. I'm like, we're growing, we're expanding. Money Acumen isn't where it was 2 years ago.
Exactly.
We're not just investment advisors, now we're investment bankers, we're traders, and we have so much, and the technical team that we have there needs, at some point we'll need to hire bigger brains to move us forward. If we're looking to go into the southern African region, if we're looking to go global, and at some point I need to admit that I can't take us there.
Exactly.
I'll need to move to founder level and allow someone else, go and poach someone that works for Alan Gray. Poach the Alan Gray CEO and put them as Money Acumen CEO, so they can take Money Acumen from where it is to Alan Gray. And those are some of the sacrifices you need to make. And we spoke to this last time, saying there's a difference between being a startup and being a small business. And you need to quickly realize that, being a startup means this is where we are now, but we're growing. We're going to move from here to small, to medium, to large. But if you say I'm a small business, you're a small business in perpetuity. So you want to get to a point where you tell yourself from onset, saying we need to grow, and growth happens at the back of the people that you hire,
Exactly.
fortunately or unfortunately. So again, that should speak to your strategy. Okay. So in closing, we have techniques successful entrepreneurs use. Again, we've spoken to SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, realistic targets. And we're also speaking to objectives and key results. Just ensure that you set bold objectives plus 3 to 5 measurable results. Okay. Here, what we're saying is, after you've set out your strategy and you've set down your goals and objectives, under each goal and objective, speaking to the measurable bit of the SMART acronym that we're using, what are the key indicators to ensure that this objective is set? And those are the pointers that you're putting under. So this is how results look like for us to achieve this particular bold objective. And then we also have the goal model that speaks to goal, reality, options, and way forward. What is our current goal? What is our reality, current reality? Again, where are we? Where do we need to be, and how do we get there? What are our options? Again, you want to be as open-minded as you possibly can be. Okay. And also, what is the way forward after we've realized what it is that needs to be done? And we also have the OGSM, which speaks to objectives, goals, strategies, and measures. Okay, just what you're then doing there is you're creating some form of a blueprint of this is what we are looking to do. Are these items, once we set down our objectives, once we set down our goals, how are we measuring these goals, and what are the strategies around these goals? So this is not strategy. Please bear in mind that there's strategy at the top, and then there's strategies for your goals and your objectives. So what are the strategies for us to attain the objectives and the goals, and how are we measuring that we're getting the results that we wanted in the first place? So draw some form of a plan or a map that shows that this is where we are and this is how we're going to get there. Okay, we have MBO there that speaks management by objectives. Okay, so managers and employees co-create goals. Excuse me. Again, your people know best to a certain extent. You set out the what and the why. That's why you are strategy. CEOs are strategy. Yeah. They lay down what needs to be done. Yeah. And why we are doing this. Yeah. Then your people, because they interact with external stakeholders, they interact with the clients, they are the ones running the business. You have operations and yeah, who sit down and figure out the how, the why, and the when. The how, the where, and the when. Yeah. So you as a CEO or you as a business owner want to co-create these goals, co-create these measures, co-create these KPIs and the timelines and with your people. Again, they need to buy into your vision. And then write and reflect, break into milestones, write your goals down. Okay. Yes, you can have a notebook on the side where you are ticking off the checklist that Banji spoke to earlier. But more importantly, what you're doing in this case is you're pacing yourself. Are we actually getting things done? Because it's one thing at the beginning of the year to write down what needs to be done. How often do we have, these lists of this is what I'm going to do at the beginning of each year, and we never get through them? Yeah. At some point, you want to track yourself every quarter. This is what has been done, what worked, what hasn't been worked, and also just to emphasize that strategy can always be reviewed, yeah, based on how you are performing. Yeah. So it's not a document or a plan set in stone. No, it's every single quarter, go back to your strategy, see if it's actually working and if it needs to be refined. Yeah. So it's a working document. And also visualization, one theme year for the year. What is it? What are we working towards? Yeah. Is it growth? Yeah. Is it people? Is it client first? So are we saying this year, whatever we do is going to be client centric? Yeah. Whatever we're doing this year is scaling. Yeah. Whatever we're doing this year is efficiency. Well, that means we're setting up systems. Yeah. What are you trying to achieve that particular year? And come up with a word for it. Are we being a bit more agile, where we say, I want a leaner team, but I want a team that works. Yeah, I want to pay them more. So instead of having 20 people, I'm going to have 10 highly efficient, highly agile individuals and set out, and I'll pay these guys more. So what are you trying to achieve in the next coming year? Yeah. So even as we look at these growth points, all in all, this is what you are looking at. I put out a case study. Yeah, this is just something for us to look at. I know we have run out of time. So this was just for a construction firm, that we can relate to. If we have someone in here that is running something similar, yeah. So you have the number of employees there, you have the services that it is that they are rendering. This is how much they made in 2024, and these are the challenges that they faced, yeah. So there was FX volatility, delayed payments, compliance, penalties. So in this particular setting for this particular business was saying grow revenue from 2.4 in 2024 to 3 million by 2026. Yeah, so you can see there's that particular growth there. Improved net margin from 8% to 15%. Reduced data delays from 90 to 60 days. Our objectives and key results was saying reduce material wastage by 10 to 15% because this person is in construction. Collect 80% of receivables within 60 days. So again, they've refined their policies to say we're not going up to 90 days anymore because our business is now incurring penalties on the other side. We're paying more interest and so we're reducing from 90 to 60 days. Achieve net margin, by 20% by 2025 and 15% by 2026. Okay. And this is just a detailed way of looking at things. Yeah, 2024, our actuals, our revenue was 2.4, our expenses was 2.2, our profit were 192k, 8%, and you can see the profit increasing year on year, from 8% to 12%. So your projections sitting at 15% in 2026, and the expenses, you can see that they're trying to keep them as lean as possible. Yeah. And the revenue is also growing. So those are the assumptions there. Yeah, expenses are growing at 8% per annum, and you can see that their efficiency gains. Yeah, and And again, finance, build reserves 400K, 2 months expenses by 2026, secure 10 new contracts annually, shorten receivables to 60 days like we spoke to earlier, reduce cement wastage by 10%, adopt project management software, people upskill 5 site workers annually, link bonuses to on-time delivery. This is a person that has set out goals, and you can see the goals reflecting on the financial end of it. So to close this off, so SMEs that thrive are those that plan and, more importantly, adapt. We've had this conversation. All you need to do is see if you can implement some of the key items that we've spoken to earlier, and also learn to adapt to the environment and everything life will throw at you. And also clear goals across finance, sales, operations, people will always build resilience. And also find a formula of some sort. Here we're saying sales plus customer care plus efficiency plus people equals to sustainable growth. The key word there being sustainable. Long term. Yeah. So I think we'll end there and we'll take in some questions.
Thank you so much, Lyapa. I know there's been a lot that has been said, and I always feel the 1 hour we are allocated does not do justice, because we're almost cruising through. But I do have 2 questions, and I've been jotting down quite a lot, and I hope everybody else really has been writing points down. So we do have a question from Sue. So Sue, and again, I hope that's the correct pronunciation. Sue says, how do I go about saving an emergency fund for my business? Please walk me through. When you were talking about, creating a finance buffer for businesses, I literally said, this might be difficult. And it really would be difficult for a lot of businesses. And I'm so happy that Sue has actually raised it. So how does one actually create a buffer? It's easier when you're a big corporate and you may have that, but if I can imagine if I'm starting up my business, it's pocket in, pocket out, so it really becomes difficult. So how does one navigate that?
Okay, so first things first is we go back to the point of, is your business actually profitable? So ensure that your business is profitable. And the next thing is allocate a percentage, no matter how small, towards creating this buffer. Realistically speaking, our bills as small, medium-sized businesses usually go to our revenue usually goes to funding our expenses. But it makes a difference if you say for all the profit that I make, 5% or 10% will go towards creating this buffer. So the buffer will not be created in 3 months, neither will it be created in 6 months. It might even take you a year to create that buffer, and that's okay. Because remember, it's called an emergency fund. So that emergency might not come in the next 12 months. So creating that buffer ensures that just in case something really hits your business that's very serious, that needs a cushion of some sort, you have that sitting with you. I know big businesses will call it reserves. We don't have the luxury.
We don't.
Reserves,
we don't.
But 5-10%, Sue, and I hope this is realistic even for everyone else. Just 5-10% of everything that you make. Just have a separate bank account opened for it, and just always throw in whatever the 5 or 10% looks like, and create the buffer over time.
Okay, and we have a question from Bridget. Bridget says, how do I position myself as a startup and become profitable in a location where there is a well-established competitor whose operational costs are obviously lower and manageable compared to mine? So playing in a certain location or in a certain sector, let's even say it's sector specific, where you have, a bigger competitor, how do you just stay on your feet and not drown immediately?
I hear you. I'll speak from experience. We are a relatively smaller firm as compared to our competitors, and our competitors are the banks. It's the big institutions. They'll always have economies of scale on their end. But that does not stop us from creating our USP. So what is your unique selling point? What is it that makes you different from your competitor? I had this conversation with someone that I my co-mentor. Yeah. I remember him telling me, saying, Lyapa, the problem with our industry is we're always selling high returns. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Come to me because I have better returns. Come to me because I'm going to pay you more, or these investments that I'm offering, you're going to pay you more than the competitor and whatnot. He said, stop. Yeah. What people are looking for is, can I trust you with my money?
Yep, trust.
Yeah. So whilst your competitor might be selling, this, which is a good thing because there are clients that are genuinely looking for better rates. There's also a set of clients out there that are just looking for a relationship. Yeah. So what is your USP? Yeah. Why did you go in there in the first place? Yeah. You saw a problem, and that's something that us entrepreneurs also forget. Yeah. You saw a problem, and that's why you started that business. Yeah. Maybe someone wasn't serving you the way you wanted to serve, and there are a number of people that are looking at it from a different perspective. Yeah. In the banking sector, for instance, we have Absa, we have Stanbic, we have Standard Chartered, F&B, and all. None of them lack clients. None at all. Yeah. And every one of them will say we are a big bank because they are. But what is their USP? Yes. And you just want to sit down with yourself and say, we are fantastic at customer service, so come to us. Or our products are slightly cheaper than our competitors, so come to us. Our location is better, so come to us. Yeah. We have a bigger team, so come to us. Our turnaround times are better, so come to us. We're tech driven. You don't have to come to us, we'll come to you. Yeah, you can make your online orders. So what is your USP? And I hope that helps.
Okay, I hope that helps. There's a question, it's actually a comment from Deborah. She wants to ask a question. So Deborah, if you're able to hear me, let's just take a moment for you to unmute your mic at this point. And then you can come in and ask your question. If you're not able to, happy for you to still post it in the chat, but let's just try and see if we can give Deborah a second to unmute her mic, and then she can be able to speak. So Deborah, if you're able to hear me, or if you're still present, please just give me a thumbs up, and then we can be ready to hear from you.
Hi, Banji. I don't even know how to do a thumbs up. I don't know how to work this app.
Okay, so Deborah, I cannot hear you. I can see you speaking. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if it's on my side. Please just try and speak, Deborah, if you can hear me.
Hi, Banji. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. So you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I don't know how to use this app on this phone. But Lyapa, thank you so much for your presentation today. I have attended a few events where you have spoken, and I absolutely love listening to you and your insights and just how professional you are. It's very admirable. And for me, my question is, how do I really maintain this momentum? Because I was getting a little emotional actually as you were saying some of the things you were saying in today's class, because I was thinking about my own business and where it is right now and how I'm really just struggling between keeping my business afloat and closing, because everything that comes from my business, I need to use it because I've got kids and I've got needs and all of this. But then, when you're talking about profit and how every business you have own or managing needs to earn your profit. So I'm making a profit, but it's small, because I just have so many needs, and I find myself in a position where everything that's coming in, I need to spend it. And even if I'm looking for ways to scale up, I'm scaling in a way, but then I don't have enough money to do bigger things for my business and just make sure that my business is, more professional. I'm compliant already, but, there's just so many things I'd love to do further. And I remember you saying something at one of the meetings I had attended before, and one thing you said, I wrote this down in my notebook, you said, treat your business like it's something that you're going to sell tomorrow, and so now I'm here thinking, how am I supposed to maintain this momentum of I'm really inspired and all of this, because I attend a lot of these talks and they've been very beneficial and helpful, but to be honest, I just don't have people around me that are in the space that I am in right now. And I have asked many times, are there WhatsApp groups that have maybe like 10, 15 people that I can join with somebody helping and guiding, like a mentor? People talk about mentors. I don't have a mentor. I don't know where to start from looking for a mentor. And I would want to believe that there's probably someone else on this call that would just love to have a support group, not something big where people are just, posting things that are not relevant, but where we actually hold each other's hands and we're doing all of these things other than just what Absa is doing to help us grow our businesses and grow ourselves. So how do you know any, platforms? How exactly do I maintain this momentum as an individual? Because to be honest, I don't have friends that are in the space where I am right now, where I just want to work hard and grow my business and do what I feel needs to be done. I'm not even sure if that's a question or a complaint, but I hope you are able to speak into that. And also, just lastly and very quickly, I'm not sure if this is allowed, but Vanji, are you able to share Lyapa's presentation? I feel like those notes are really important. I was literally in 2 meetings at the same time and I wasn't able to take down notes. But if that's a possibility, if it can come through email, it would be really, really helpful. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll, Deborah, thank you so much for that comment. I'll allow Lyapa to come in, and then I'll come in on how you're able to access today's content. I know it is a question that is always asked, and it was probably going to come in at some point. So maybe Lyapa could just go into Deborah's question or comment. We do have other questions that have been posed, but if you could just take us through, but just give us guidance on particularly the situation that she's currently facing.
Okay. Deborah, thank you for those sentiments, and thank you for quoting me back to me. It's a reminder that I needed in this moment. Hoping to meet you soon. Honestly speaking, how you're feeling is the majority of how most small and medium-sized business owners feel. Yeah, you're making all this money, you have demanding needs, and to be honest, most people set up businesses to take care of themselves. Yeah, to make sure that their personal needs are met. But then, how do you balance ensuring that the business stays afloat, whilst at the same time, taking care of yourself? Yeah. I think going back to basics again is separating business and personal finances. Yeah. Where even just bank accounts are kept separate. This is how much is supposed to go into this money that it's being made by the business is going into the business account, and from there you come up with, again, policy. It informs everything. Yeah. How do I get paid from the business? Yeah. Do I pay myself a salary, or do I pay myself a percentage of the profits that we're making? Yeah. After expenses have been paid. So if you and the business are going Dutch, for instance, you're going 50-50. We know that 50% is being retained back into the business. 50% realistically is taking care of you. That way, your business is slowly scaling. And I will carefully say this to you. I know we're in a very competitive, landscape, especially in Zambia. Most women, most business owners are growing at a very fast pace, and it's very easy for you to feel like you're not doing enough. Yeah, like you need to get onto the next trend. You need to, introduce the next product onto your book, introduce the next service. Also, I need to go into a different town also because my competitor opened a store in a different town, and I want you to come back to your reality. Especially when it comes to finances, the one thing that will keep you afloat as a business owner is being grounded in your reality. What can I do in the now? What can I do in the short term? What can I do in the medium term? And what can I do in the long term? Yeah, and your strategy when you sit down with yourself, Deborah, will inform all of these things. Yeah, I need my business to survive on the personal side. That means I can only scale at this rate, I can only give back my business 40% of everything that I make. So what does 40% mean for me and my business? We can only get to that point in the next 6 months. We can only get to that point in the next 1 year. So where are you August 2026? Other than where do we need to be now? That will mess with your head. It will have you feeling like a failure, even when you have a stable, proper business. So already you've mentioned that, your business is, it's actually a profitable business. That's how it's, taking care of you. So I don't want you to run your business down by thinking you're failing. You aren't. You really, really aren't. There are businesses out there that are already closed because they're not making money, but your business is making money. What's putting you in this frantic mode is, I need to scale. So in as much as I want you to scale, in as much as I love to scale as a business owner, I want you to scale at a very realistic pace. I want you to pace yourself whilst taking care of yourself. And more importantly, how are you allocating the profits that you are making as a business? So if 50% is going to ensuring that you're taking care of your children, you're taking care of yourself, and make sure that the 50% that is being retained back into the business is also serving the business well, and you're growing at a pace that you can afford to. Okay, when it comes to support group, I know Ranji has, Absa Women in Business. They're doing fantastic work. That's how you and I are able to have this conversation right now. There's a conference that was had last month. There's so many initiatives that they've put out there, financing, whatever it is that you need in terms of support. I'm sure the bank, can help in that bit. On our end, we have corporate and SME advisory, where you can then come on and you can retain us as your investment advisor. Maybe we can then help you with that 50% that you're allocating towards your business, and just hold your hand to ensure that you are being kept afloat whilst your business is also moving at that particular pace that you need to move. So feel free to get in touch with Money Acumen Advisory. You can go to our website and just fill in a form, or after this, you can find us on any of the platforms. For myself, I'll put down our contact details in the chat section, and you can get in touch. But all in all, please don't be in a frantic to think that you're failing. You really aren't, and I'm pretty sure your business is doing fantastic. You just need to ground yourself in your reality, because you're doing great. You really are doing great, and then you'll be okay.
Okay. So very quickly, Deborah, I have put in the chat the Absa Women in Business email address. So please, if you could just drop us an email, and we'll be able to contact you, just so that we're able to see how best we can provide you with additional support. I've also dropped in the chat the Money Acumen website. So it's www.moneyacumenadvisory.com. So please just be able to reach out to Lyapa and team as well, so that from their corporate and SME point, they can be able to see how they assist you. But please drop us an email, and we'll be able to get in touch with you. I think very quickly, we do have a comment from Muka that says, how much of my profits do I reinvest in my business to ensure growth? And I think that was the 10% you said?
To ensure growth. No, that was for the buffer.
Okay, so that's for the buffer. So Muka wants to get an understanding of how much of the profits do they need to reinvest in the business to ensure growth.
It depends on what type of business you're running. There's some businesses that will require a huge chunk of your profits to be retained back into the business. There are also businesses that can survive with only putting back a fraction of it. Let's say you put back 30% in there, 40% goes into investments, just building an asset base away from the actual business, and also paying the business owner. So what policies do you have, or are you looking to set as a business? I'm a firm believer of diversifying. because of the nature of my job, I will never ever ask you to put 100% of your earnings back into the business, because of the rule, do not put all your eggs in one basket. We've seen what COVID did to businesses. Everything is in that particular business, and when that business, or if that business goes down, it goes down with every single coin that you own. So you're better off every time you have some monies that come through in terms of profits, some of it goes towards other investment vehicles that have nothing to do with the business. That means you're diversifying, and part of it, of course, you're paying yourself, if you're paying yourself dividends, and a portion of it is going towards creating that buffer of yours, and some of it is retained back into the business. So I would say casually, because I haven't done an assessment on your business, 40% can be retained back into the business. Maybe another 40% can go into other investments, then 20%, 10% you can put it in a buffer, 10% can go to you as the business owner if you're paying yourself a salary.
Yeah. All right. I hope that answers. So we've got 3 questions that I'd like us to cruise through, only because of time, which is really not on our side. So Wangani says, in startups, there's a strong need to be disruptive and flexible, but compliance requirements can feel like they limit that flexibility. From your experience, how can startups strike a balance between having a disruptive business model and staying compliant without compromising agility?
Again, I'm a real life case study on disruption. Again, pace yourself. Your strategy will inform when you scale. We started out as investment advisors. Our license was that of investment advisory. We wanted to do more. That means we had to, change the box that we were playing in to get a bigger box. Like I mentioned, it's a very highly regulated industry, and unfortunately, in let me not say industry, in a country like ours, we are highly regulated. Every small move you need to make, there's someone. There's these roadblocks of, you need to speak to that institution, you need to get that license, you need to do that, you need to at the end of the day, you need to work within the lines of the law and whatever it is it's required of you. So whilst I'm a very huge fan of scaling, I do that a lot myself. You want to set time horizons on when we introduce what, without shooting yourself in the foot. In terms of how much do we need to pump in terms of capex for us to get to this level, for us to introduce this particular product, for us to introduce this particular service, for us to expand into new markets, and so that all these things that need to that come in, that are very capital intense. Are you ready as a business? And like we mentioned to Deborah earlier, it's very easy for you to fall into this formal effect of, okay, but everyone is doing it, everyone is expanding, everyone is growing. We all started with 1 store. How come they have 5 stores? How come she has 20 employees? I only have 5. I need to get there. But again, pace yourself. It's exciting, but it's capital intensive. So come up with that strategy. More importantly, there's a reason why big businesses have 3-year strategy. They are minimum 3-year strategies. What is your 3-year strategy? What is your 5-year strategy? And then start working backwards. That way you don't feel like you need to do everything today. So if big businesses believe in 3-year strategies and they have all the money in the world, us with our very limited resources can surely adopt to a 3-year strategy and grow at a fast pace, but grow at a pace that is still within the limits of your resources, because that's the bigger chunk of it. And just to that point, when it comes to resources, there's a point, again, I learned from the people around me. I remember someone mentioning this to me, saying, just because you have money doesn't mean you can afford it. I will say this to the entrepreneurs in this room: just because you have money in your reserves or you have money in your bank account doesn't mean it's time for you to scale. Sometimes it's okay for you to get to a point where your business is actually liquid, your business is actually making money. So the strategy will inform what needs to be done at every given point. So don't get too excited just because you have money to say, no, we need to buy new equipment. Now we need to do this. Now we need to expand. Take 2 steps back and ground yourself. But all the best for money.
Okay. So we've got just 2 questions left. One is from Lillian, and this is really around, I think, a comment you had made earlier around social media that says, what do you suggest about having a sales/marketing person early on, especially with the coming in of social media? Or how do you know when? So just within the whole social space.
Okay. We were lucky enough that the time that we started, the marketing or social media person that we had actually approached us as a business, saying, we want to work with you. I'm looking to grow my profile. Also, what can I do for you? And I think I'll extend the same to you. There are a lot of people that are looking to grow their profile. I'm not saying exploit them. I'm saying find the way of how you can work with them. Social media, like every other platform, like every other service provider, needs someone who's really good at it, someone who's an expert at it. So find an expert and see how you can collaborate on it. Saying, I'm trying to grow my business from where it is to here. Can you help me? And sometimes you find that you don't even need a permanent person. You can get them on a consultancy gig. I can't afford sales and marketing people are actually very expensive. The digital marketing and they're very expensive. Believe it or not. So get someone on a consultancy gig. They don't need to be in the office with you. They don't need to be stationed at in your business permanently. But let them come up with the marketing strategy for you. Let them tell you the best times or the best places to place your products and your services, and let them guide you. And over the course of time, when your business is ready to retain someone on a full-time basis, I'm pretty sure the business will guide you as it grows. But for now, just get someone on a part-time basis. And the earlier you do that, the better, because the world has gone digital. So you do need someone from onset, but bring them on as a consultant. Find a younger person, and I'll tell you this, there are a lot of young people out there that are looking for opportunity to work in the digital space. They've grasped how it works, and let them come to you. Let them run their mouths on how best you can grow your business, and just remunerate them accordingly as consultants.
Okay, and our very, very last question is from Linda. So Linda says, how do you take care of yourself? I mean personal expenses when you have just started a business and you have no other income to rely on. This is based on a scenario where you are only relying on your business to sustain you as well as sustain the business itself.
That's a very similar
question.
Question, Mr. Perez. The business is its own person. That means it has its own needs. It wants to be taken care of. It doesn't want to die. It wants to look good. The same way you want to keep up appearances as a business owner. But what I'll advise you to not allow is to look good at the expense of your business. Again, find out how much you need from the business, or first find out how much the business needs to survive, and see how you can squeeze yourself in the profits that the business is making. So yes, take care of yourself, but remember that the business is making its own money so that it can survive and so that it can grow. So don't steal from the business. Set up a policy. If it's 20% that you'll be getting from all the profits that you're making as a business owner, do that. Anything above 20%, you're stealing from the business, or anything above 20%, you're borrowing from the business and you need to pay it back. So take care of yourself, but just make sure that the business is not suffering. And please, entrepreneurs, do not steal from your business. The best thing you can do, one of my very close friends, he's a business owner. and he's hired an accountant that scares the living daylight out of him. Like, he's always complaining, saying, I can't even send a 5,000 kwacha from my business without being questioned. Like, it's my business. I'm like, okay, but why are you complaining to me? It's like, no, because I called the guy. I was in a meeting and I had run out of, my allowance. I'm telling him, saying, send me money. And he said no. And he stopped picking up my calls. Yeah, and this is why I'm calling you, because I need some money. Can you please send me some money? Yeah. And he goes on, and this hasn't happened on 1 or 2 occasions. And I'm like, okay, but why did you hire him? He's like, he puts me in check. Yeah. So you want to put yourself in check, yeah? I have a co-managing partner, Teresa. She's the gas to my brakes. Literally, she is the gas to my brakes. So what you just want to do is you want to find someone who keeps you accountable. I might be a bit solid when it comes to the financial bit, but when it comes to spending on the business and expanding, and she would tell me, saying, we can't do this right now. Wait. Yeah. We can't afford it. Wait. Yeah. So just find someone. It might not be a business partner per se, but find an employee who you are accountable to, or if you and your partner, your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend do business together, just tell them, saying, listen, every time I come up with this dream, because entrepreneurs dream a lot. When I wake up in the morning saying I want to take over the world, just say, okay, you know what, take over Lusaka. Then let's take over Zambia before we can go to the world. Yeah. Okay. Just find someone to pace yourself. So yeah, take care of yourself, but never at the expense of your business. So allocate, and if it's 10 or 20% to yourself, which is non-negotiable. Anything above that, you are borrowing from the business and you need to pay back.
Okay, so our very, very last comment is coming from Atusai. I'll just call her Atu. So Atu is saying, a very interesting discussion and relatable. Many thanks, Absa Women in Business and Money Acumen. So I think this really brings us to the close of the conversation. But as we're closing, I just wanted to highlight, I think for me, 4 salient points that came out. And then I'll hand to you, Lyapa, just to close for us. So for me, the first one was, I put them down as 6 W's and an H. So it's your why, which is your vision, your what, which is your measurable outcome, your how, which is your actionable steps, who, the accountable executive, like you said, there has to be accountability, or your stakeholders, where, your market position or competition, where, timelines and deadlines, and what, which is your potential obstacles and backup plan. The second one that I think for me really hit home is policy. We have to make sure that we have our own policies in place. Those will be our guides. So let's not look at policy as something that will limit us, but it's really something that we have to invest in if we want to be able to grow and scale, like you said. And then the third one, which is really foundational, I believe, for any business, is for you to be able to grow your client base and retain your clients. So grow it, but also retain your existing clients. And I said, a happy client is everything.
Yes.
But a recommendation is so much more. So if you're able to have a happy client who can be able to make a reference, a referral of sorts, or just recommend you and your services, then you know you're in the right space. And the last one, which is just what you said, do not steal from your business. So ladies and my brave gentlemen, because I do see we have some brave gentlemen in the room, please do not steal from your business. Don't borrow and say, I'll pay back the business, and then you somehow remember along the way that it is my business at the end of the day, so I don't need to pay. So please, let's just remember, the business is there for a reason. Have a separate account for your business. Separate every transaction from personal. And if you do borrow, make sure you're paying it back. On that note, please remember to reach out to us on Women in Business at absa.africa. We have dropped the email address in the chat, and also reach out to Lyapa's team on www.moneyacumenadvisory.com. But I also do see that Sipiwe has put her email address, which is Sipiwe from Money Acumen. So please reach out to Sipiwe as well, and that will help us as well. I know there was a comment earlier from Deborah asking for us to be able to share the presentation. So you will be able to access this on the Absa Bank YouTube channel. So please go to YouTube and just search Absa Bank Zambia, and you'll be able to find this particular masterclass alongside the other masterclasses that we've had. So deliberately we are posting this online so that you can go back many times to be able to watch it. Share the links with other people who you believe will find the information quite useful. So Lyapa, I'll just come in and ask you to close your parting words, maybe before we do the final close.
Okay. You've summarized the conversation really well. All I just need everyone to do as we plan for the next couple of months, the remainder of the year and 2026, is sit down, assess your business, audit it for what it is. Yes, I want us to look at where we can be, where we think we should be, but more importantly, for us as investment advisors, the starting point is, where am I? That will guide where you need to be and eventually how you get there. So let's go back to basics. Let's set your SMART goals. Please, it's a cliche for a reason. Introduce it to your team, introduce it to yourself. More importantly, remind yourself every quarter, are my goals, are my objectives SMART? And rank them against each item under the SMART acronym. And also go back to the other masterclass on financial management, just so you can do your cash flow projections for the remainder of the year. You can do your cash flow projections for 2026. You'll find other masterclasses there that will also guide you. I believe there was a masterclass on business law.
Yes.
It will guide you on compliance. There's a masterclass on people, something around HR and human capital. Go to it, listen to it. These are experts that are helping guide how you can set up a business, that is functioning well, that has set up systems holistically. And also, and I'll close with this, emphasis on, are you a small business or are you a startup that is growing? Quickly get to that as soon as possible. That will influence the type of systems that you put in place. It will influence the type of people that you hire. It will influence how you scale, when you scale, why you are scaling, and the type of strategy that you're putting in place. If you are a small business owner, you are a small business owner, for the next 5-10 years. But if you're starting up, you know that what you're doing now will only take you for the next 2 years. And after 3 years, we'll need to sit down and review our strategy. And after 5 years, and just like that. So do those strategies as soon as possible. Set up your 3-year strategy now. Set up your 2026 strategy now. This is when almost all the big businesses, big institutions are sitting down, to do their strategy for 2026. I want you to adopt the same mentality. Every third quarter, we sit down and we do our strategy for the following year. We do our budgets, we do our financials, and our projections, and. Remember, strategy is holistic. It's just not financial. It's holistic. It's operations, it's people, it's sales, and all those key items that we spoke to. So let's start the planning process now. Okay, if you need any hand holding, reach out. Please do not underestimate institutions that exist out there. There's Absa Women in Banking. They actually set up a women's wing for women that are in business, Absa Women in Business rather, for you, so that you can get all the support. Remember that these businesses, and this is a cheat code, when you see a bank set up a unit like that, best believe they also have other stakeholders that they're working with that can support you as a business. They've brought Money Acumen here. That is something that you only found under Absa Women in Business. They have other suppliers that are able to help you if you're looking to tap into other markets. If you're looking for suppliers out there, how can they help you? So come in, let's see if they can hold your hand through it, and also reach out to Spirit. Let's see how Money Acumen can help you. But all the best. Please move at your pace, and let's go out and make some money.
And on that note, we will be saying thank you to Lyapa, and I think Audrey sums it when she says thank you so much, Absa Women in Business and Money Acumen Advisory CEO Ms. Lyapa, for this very timely and insightful session. personally, I will plan for my 2026 financial year and 3-year strategy even better. Thank you. So, Lyapa, on that note, I think you deserve a round of applause. So please, if you can give Lyapa a round of applause for that. Thank you so much to everybody who was able to join us. I have been here, as always, month in, month out. My name is Vanji Lufungulo, and I've been the facilitator. And really, just to say a big thank you to you, Lyapa, for taking time outside your busy schedule just for us to have this conversation. And we are looking forward to hosting our next masterclass next month. So please be on the lookout across our socials for the very next masterclass. But I've also posted for everything else, including today's masterclass. Please head to our YouTube channel, search for Absa Bank Zambia, and you'll be able to find all this information. So on that note, to the ladies, and once again to our brave gentlemen, I'd just like to say thank you and see you next month. Thank you.